वो भी है
तो तुमने कॉपी लिया उसको?
नहीं वो देखिए
अरुण तेरा नंबर काट हो गया यार। इन लोगों ने क्या शॉट नहीं है, अरे गोल गोल घुमाते रहा।
एक्शन करते थे पिक्चर बन
बोल क्या दिख गया तेरे को?
नहीं ये लेना चाहिए, अच्छा है ये।
अरे भाई कॉफी अभी कुछ नहीं कर
काम अच्छा हो रहा है। अरे मस्त है यार, सही है भाई।
ये मजाक मत उड़ा,
सही मिल रहा है वो जो पूरा शॉट। बस रोल है ना, नीचे ले धीरे से आराम से ले 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 और नीचे ले बस सही शॉट। कट कर यहाँ पे, कट कर, शाबाश। ले ले ले, चलेगा चलेगा, पीछे पीछे ले ले तो देखिएगा वाइड होते जाएगा और दिखने लगेगा। ले ले पीछे का 2 मिनट के इवेंट में इतना मिनट का एक कट
यही तो प्रॉब्लम है यार, इधर है
इमरान सर यहाँ पे सामने, एकदम सामने इमरान भी सर, लेफ्ट साइड सर, राइट में सर, लोग एक साथ आइए सर, आइए सर, वन टुगेदर, आइए सर, यहाँ पे सामने सर, राइट से सर, इमरान सर, थैंक यू गाइस, थैंक यू। कौन है
चलो अंदर चलो।
Oh, there's one. I think the ball should be in the center. Well, someone's missing, so probably I can start off. She's here.
Oh, she's here. Missing is the one that's supposed to.
Oh, all right.
As busy sandwiching it in there.
Next
step. I was given by the publisher a bunch of lines to read as synopsis for your book, but I don't think I should. Legends. I did say it's a gripping thriller, war correspondence, and of course, the crime writer Hussain Zaidi. That's Hussain Zaidi at that corner. Tali to baja do bechare ke liye. I'm sorry if I sound a little informal. I'm not your typical MC. I'm just a friend who got some lines and I'm adding to them or minusing them. Hussain is known around the country, if not the world, for... lastly, we come...
Kiss that goodbye. So yeah, that's the past.
No, but it got you. I think it's terrific.
Yes. I've kissed my way to the top.
Ah. I mean, Kim Kardashian...
Kissing and getting paid for it. I mean,
listen, Kim Kardashian had to make a sex video to get famous. You only had to kiss Malika
I can go
Sherawat.
only this far. Trust me. No sex videos here.
So, without further ado, can I request you to unwrap the book and let's go for the release. Thank you, guys. Imran, I know you need to be specially thanked because you're a very busy
Please
boy.
don't thank me, please.
But I hear you're up for a imminent release, or aaj kuch trailer wailer bhi release ho
Yes,
raha hai?
we had a trailer launch. So yeah, please enjoy it. It's on YouTube. We launched it.
Film ka naam bhi bol do.
Shamelessly plugging my film is Hamari Adhuri Kahani, but that's all that I'll say today about the film. You can
Bilal
catch it on
की
YouTube.
कहानी पूरी हो गई, तेरी अधूरी
नहीं
रह
नहीं
गई.
इसकी कहानी के बारे में बात करने के लिए आया हूँ मैं. So Bilal is first of all thank you Bilal and Hussein for inviting me here today for the book launch, and thank you everyone for coming here. I met Bilal a couple of months back through Hussein, and we had a meeting at my place, I remember. And when he walked in, I thought he was 16 years old. After the meeting was done, Hussein was leaving, and I remember at the door he said, "This boy is 20, and he has just finished writing a book." And I almost fell off the seat. Here's a boy at an age when, I'm including myself at that age, when you're whiling away time in a college canteen, and you're chasing girls, and you're trying to pass exams and avoid KTs in your college. He has gone ahead and written a fantastic book. The next time we met, the following day, I was given a copy of the book, and I read it, and it is fantastic. I think that's the sign of a good book. It transports you. It's got some fantastic characters. It's got some great moments, and it just immerses you. It just sucks you in, and it's something that you wouldn't want to put down. So very proud of him, and also of Hussein for mentoring him. I think we need more people like Hussein who hold the prodigy's hand and take them ahead and just show them the way. At this age, he needs a lot of guidance, and of course, he's written a fantastic book, but also Hussein has been a wonderful mentor. And yes, to you, the next time you write your other book and the following books, I'll be right up there in line, waiting for a signature, for a signed copy. So, big fan, and please continue the good work. Thank you.
Hussein, why don't we go straight to a Q&A? Why don't you take it over? And why don't you ask it? Now the Q&A session, तो आप उसको पूछो questions अपने protege को.
I'll just take 2 minutes of yours to talk about Mr. Bilal Siddiqui. I met him about 2 years ago when I was doing this book, Mumbai Avengers. At that time, I had given a speech in St. Xavier's College. I was looking for some students to help me in my research. So I said that whoever will come home, my wife serves most delicious idlis and chutneys in the world, so they will get those idlis and chutneys for helping me. You won't believe some 30 students turned up. The best part is when I started the names, I was wary that I don't want a single Muslim name, because Mumbai Avengers was so much about Islamic terror. So I didn't want any Muslim boys assisting me, helping me there. But as circumstances of fate turned out, that those 30 students who have turned out, 29 only came for idlis and chutneys, and they disappeared after that. Bilal Siddiqui stayed back. My wife and I, both of us, didn't want him on the team, believe me. We were so reluctant to take him. Because we thought that he will not like it the way I'm going to write about so much against Muslims and anti-terror, blah, blah. But he said, no, he wanted to write about it and he wants to stick on, he wants to assist me. So, it so happened that after that I wrote some 3 books, and Bilal assisted me in 2 books, and now after My Name is Abu Salim and after Mumbai Avengers, I cannot imagine to write a book without Bilal's help. At age 20, he's so sorted in his head. He can tell you how to solve a difficult problem. If my characters are trapped in a difficult situation, how to come out of it. What would be my next move? How to think. Whenever I say I need a 1-pager of stories, he'll just say I'll give you tomorrow. And at 2 AM at night, I can see him online working. That's the kind of hard work and dedication you see in this boy. At his age, people are chasing girls, being on Facebook, watching porn, and all kinds of other nonsensical stuff. But this boy is writing story summaries for me. He's thinking characters, what we will be doing next. And imagine in this book, the character Kabiran's unique guy. He's actually a professor of Shakespeare in a college in Mumbai. But actually he's an RAW agent, an RAW operative, who's been summoned by no less than Prime Minister to come and take India's mission ahead in Balochistan. It's a thrilling ride, and some of those situations are amazing. As Imran said, that you get immersed, you get sucked into those situations. So I wish him tremendous success and wish him have all the bestsellers in future as well. I would request Bilal to say a few words about your first book and how you went about this journey.
Definitely. First, I thank all of you for coming here and apologize to all my mom's friends for the incessant bragging. And yeah. So, so as Hussain sir said that I met him 2 years ago and assisted him on various books. Somewhere down the line I thought, I was very interested by his genre and before I met him actually. And I kind of thought I'd develop my own plot and just write it for fun. I had no idea that would get published or anything like that. I thought it's probably when I'm 40 I'll just turn back and see what I wrote when I was a 20-year-old. But one day Hussain sir just told me that about this imprint that he's starting, which is called Blue Salt. And he said that they've tied up with Penguin, so they're kind of looking to encourage new authors and new writers and all that. So he told me that they're looking for a thriller, a genuine espionage thriller, and I thought this is my chance. So I prepared a synopsis. I kind of passed it by him, and first he told me this is not good enough. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll rework it. I asked him, what do I add to it? So he's like, a synopsis is like a seduction to the book. Is that right?
Yeah. You seduce your readers to read the book.
Okay, whatever. I'm not good with such terminology. I saw Emraan Hashmi's first movie after 18.
Sounded one of my films.
Yeah, I saw it after 18. Until then, I don't know what you've done. So that happened after like 3-4 drafts of the synopsis. Forwarded it to the head of Penguin at that point, who was Miss Chiki Sarkar, and I met her at the Times Lit Fest, and she said that fine, go ahead and start writing this, and I did that because now suddenly I had motive to write the book. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I'd have meandered with it halfway through. You don't have that sort of motivation to complete a book unless you kind of dedicate the time to it and that sort of mental bandwidth. But now that Chiki Sarkar had said that, I kind of made time, especially to work on the book. And she told me that she'll take a call on whether she wants to publish it after reading half the manuscript. So now it became a task in the sense that I had to kind of accept the challenge. I had to write the best half a book ever, so that it kind of gets published. It's not the best half a book ever, but so I kind of forwarded it to Chiki ma'am, and she liked it, so that's how I got published. And this, I started writing when I was 19 at that point, and yeah.
So let me butt in. When the second synopsis went to Chiki, she was not unsure about the first one. So when the second synopsis went to her, she went and discussed it with her sales team, and I can't describe the kind of excitement that I felt in her voice when she called me. Hussain, my sales team is so excited. They're ecstatic about the way the Kabiran's character unfolds in the book. He beats youngsters in a soccer game, and the moment he finishes his game, there's a call from PMO, there's a plane waiting for you, and you're called to Delhi immediately. She says, what kind of writer writes like that? My sales team wants to publish this book. Now, this is the first time she has not liked the synopsis. So I still remember that moment, that Chiki has never reacted to this such a way for any book or any synopsis, the way she reacted to his book. So, well.
Yeah. Also, of course, the book wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for Hussain sir, because he answered my calls as late as 2 a.m. and it was a silly plot point that I wanted to discuss, and he's like, "So jao Bilal." But I said, "No, sorry, ek baat karni hai." In fact, I remember him telling me that when he WhatsApps me at the before sleeping, he reads the messages out loudly so that his wife knows that he's WhatsApping me. So, yeah, so he's helped me a lot. He's helped me, he's put me onto sources, he's helped me by putting me onto the right people to talk to. Some of them aren't here, so. But fact-wise, I'm pretty sorted because of Hussain sir. Otherwise, it would have just been entirely fiction, which it still is, but you needed a realistic backdrop to set the story against. So I think Hussain sir helped me big time with that. And yeah, that's about it.
What do you want? So if there are any question and answers for the author, for Emraan?
First question to Bilal.
For me?
To Bilal. I said to write such a book, you need to read a lot of history, the geopolitics of the whole zone. So how do you go about that? Getting the facts right over there. And history extends to how nations were formed and so on.
Yeah, and especially since you're dealing with an area that's as tumultuous as Balochistan. So obviously there's a plethora of stuff online, but you can't rely on that all the time. And I can't travel to Balochistan because mom calls me 5 times a day if I go to Khar. So when Hussain sir put me onto quite a few of his sources too, because you need to know about first-hand experience. Even if it's not in Balochistan, the whereabouts somewhat, you have to get a good idea of the terrain, you have to get a good idea of the political atmosphere there, because India, Balochistan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, they all kind of merge at one point, which is not geographically, I'm saying in terms of politics. There's a lot going on even in India that's indirectly connected to Balochistan. So Hussain sir's sources helped me big time with that. And when I was in US too, in fact, quite by coincidence, I happened to meet my friend who I've known since good 15 years or something. And his girlfriend was over at his house, and he told me that her dad worked in the CIA for 20 odd years. So I asked him to connect me with him immediately. And that happened rather quickly. So all my basic doubts about terrorism, about Islamic extremism, about jihadism, all of that I kind of got through him by connecting with him, and I got a basic understanding of that. And since it's a fictional book, I needed a backdrop that was true enough. I didn't have to kind of change the names and write the entire story again. So the backdrop is more or less fact. The story is entirely fiction. So I think we have sorted that out. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you when I read the book, I felt I was reading a film script. So did you have, because it's dramatic,
True.
characterization, you've got the plotting. I
True.
just thought you had a film in mind when you were writing it. Is that right?
Not at all, actually. See, that's the thing today. A book kind of has to compete with a film in terms of its how it captures you. Because many people today, my age included, around 50% don't read books. And I'm not even exaggerating about this. If I know certain people who just don't read books, they say skip to picture aa rahi hai, picture dekh lete. But that's not how it works, at least for me. But at the same time, you do have to kind of deal with certain scenes cinematically in order to make it more interesting. And if it happens along the course, then nothing like it. But yeah, it's a thriller. It would be silly not to make it cinematic nowadays. And I'm hoping it'll make for a good movie when that happens. So.
Will it be Emraan Khan or Emraan Hashmi?
Imran Khan. I don't know. That's up to the makers of the film to decide. I don't have any call in that.
Are you recommending?
Definitely, yeah. He'd make an awesome Kabir.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
No, he suits the character of Kabir Anand to the T
I have
actually.
seen that script, so. Oops.
No kissing scene.
No kissing scene.
Also, the thing is with Kabir as a character, he's not your typical mainstream James Bond or a Bond, because it's very easy to fall into that trap. When you write a character of a spy, he can very well look like a shadow of a Bond, and we've seen that fail, at least in India. I won't name any movie, but that's the thing. So Kabir as a character is very understated. He is not flamboyant. He won't wear a suit. He won't sip on martinis. He won't. But he's still at the same time. He's got that Shakespearean angle to him that kind of gives him the emotional touch because he's kind of relating real conflict with, let's say, a Macbeth or a Hamlet or whatever. And also at the same time, when Kabir is fighting people, it has to be realistic in the sense that it's a book, it's not a movie, so you do kind of describe a gunfight as realistically as possible, but at the same time make it a little more cinematic. So I think Kabir is a good character, and I hope that there can be many more books with Kabir, or films with Kabir. Let's hope it works out.
Other than your mentor, do you have any author role models?
Author role models. As in, if I know them personally.
We talk about James Bond, Ian Fleming.
Yeah.
Have you read a lot?
See, I've read a lot of Ian Fleming, and honestly, I think the movies are better than the books for Bond because he wrote it at a point of time where not everything was exaggerated so that it suits cinematic style, which is tending to happen now. But I do like Daniel Silva, who is one of my favorite authors of this same genre, and Frederick Fawcett. But see, that's the thing, right? It's very easy to fall into that trap. Like it could end up looking like a copy of a Fawcett or a Silva. So I had to consciously make an attempt to keep it as original as possible, so that even if I don't intend it, there are no similarities. So yeah, I think Daniel Silva, Frederick Fawcett, Lee Child is a great author too. Jack Reacher. I'm talking about the similar genre. And yeah.
One for Emraan ji. Sir, when a personality like you, a super successful hero, a celebrity, sits beside the nobody's like him, एक नए बंदा की बात, अब क्या सोचते हो? खरे दिन से मैं यहाँ बैठे. एक preparation तो होती है आपको introduction आता है.
Well, obviously when I met him first, I think it's extremely inspirational कि इन्होंने इस उम्र में किताब लिखी है, and then you go back to thinking that it's not really the years that you live, it's the experiences that you have and the intellect and how you apply yourself. So I think for someone like me also, I think it's extremely inspirational to be sitting next to him, to kind of to read this book, this piece of work, and see the amount of work that's been put in by him, and a kind of worldview that he has. So yeah, it's extremely inspiring.
Imran, between watching films and reading a book, what do you prefer?
Well, I've read a couple of books recently that were adapted to films, be something like a Twilight or a Gone Girl or Hunger Games, but nothing really. When you read a book, it's about you kind of imagine the space, and a lot of stuff gets edited down when it eventually goes up there on screen, and you need a sensible director who does that. Some of the films, miserably fail in that department because nothing really goes ahead and kind of supersedes the book. Generally, it's the book that is actually the star, and then you have to have a crew that kind of gives it its due. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. Like Gone Girl was a great example of something good that was done with the material. But still, I prefer the book. I like the book a lot, yes. But still, a wonderful film based on that. So even on something like this, you'll need a team that is extremely sensitive to the material, that understands the space. It's a book that thrills you. It keeps you at the edge of the seat. And you need a director that understands that. You need actors that understand that and can give you that intensity on screen.
No, what about Black Friday? Did you watch Black Friday and
No, unfortunately, no, I've not seen that.
इमरान आपकी फिल्म का ट्रेलर अभी लॉन्च हुआ है और इंडस्ट्री के कई लोगों ने ट्वीट करके भी काफी प्रशंसा की है, तो आपके ऊपर काफी प्रेशर होगा.
जब ट्वीट करके उसका प्रेस करते हैं तो प्रेशर नहीं होता है. जनरली जब ट्वीट नहीं करते तो प्रेशर होता है. But like I said, let's just keep this at the book today. Just enjoy the trailer. It's come out today on YouTube. So we'll have more press conferences for that film very soon, shortly in a week, so we can discuss the film then.
Just launched it on YouTube.
Sorry?
Any specific hidden agenda behind this?
I mean, everyone launches films on YouTube these days, so and also on television. So you'll have the film on television.
Mr. Siddiqui,
Yes.
hi. I
ma'am.
particularly came all the way from Grand Road
Thank
to
you.
ask you. I don't think you'll say thank you when you hear my question. You have called, I haven't read your book, but I presume
it.
Okay. Now, what I'm saying is, are you going with the trend? Because the trend today is blood, blood, and more blood. And the
You
more
think so?
violence, no, I'm asking you. One minute. I'm not finished my question.
Sure.
I'm asking you whether you are going with the title, with the wave that is happening at the moment, and where is the spirituality? Where is the redemption in the book? Is there a redemption at all? Redemption, you know what redemption, what I mean?
Yeah, I know what redemption
yeah,
means.
yeah, okay. So is there a redemption to the characters in the book? Or is it just blood and gore through and through? And are you just going with the tide? Or are you really with it?
Man, you could have, you read the book, you know there's a lot of redemption in it. Also, as for going with the tide, I don't know who else has written this sort of book in India yet. You see the Ravinder Singhs, you see the Durjoy Dattas. They are writing love stories, and they're older than me. And a lot of it is teen romance and romantic novels and stuff. And if I had written that, then I think the question would have been valid, that I've gone with the flow. But at the same time, having said that, it's my first attempt at this, and it's a genre that really excites me. And I plan to write with maybe this character, maybe another. But for now, I want to stick in this genre because I think there's a lack of good books in this particular genre. Hopefully, if it does well, which only time will tell, I will probably decide to write another one. And the redemption bit is pretty evident once you read the book, because the main crux of the story is redemption at some point, because he is kind of avenging his mentor. And I think I've handled human emotions fairly well. I think Hussain sir and Emraan sir have read it, so they might know a little better. But yeah, so thank you for coming on.
वो बार बार उसी पे आ रहा है, तो अधूरी पे आ रहा है. बाढ़ फ्लड अधूरी के बारे में एक हफ्ते के बाद बात करेंगे.
पिक्चर होगी तो पूरी भी हो जाएगी ना कहानी.
Mr. Siddiqui, one more
Yes,
question.
yes, ma'am.
Why do you call your book The Bard of Blood? The Bard is a poet.
Exactly. So
So
that
you are a poet of blood.
that's the okay. So he is a professor of Shakespeare who has been wrong in the past. He likes the bard's work, and at some point down the mission, he's been given the sobriquet or the nickname of the bard. Hence, the Bard of Blood. Yes, yes, yes. One. 20. हाँ बन जाएंगे यार. पिक्चर बना लो आप, मैं एक्टिंग कर लूँगा.
Final question.
No.
Yes, yes.
Fourth final question.
I just want to know how and when the character of Kabir popped into your head,
Yeah.
or it came about.
So Kabir is actually. I'm going to take time to answer this because see, the thing is, when you're reading fiction, foreign fiction, in terms of a Lee Child or a Daniel Silva, they have such strong characters which I don't think in India. While reading them, I just noticed that as a reader, I haven't thought that I'll write and fill that void or anything at that point of time. But I thought that yeah, India deserves a character that could possibly have the same what do you call it, strength to carry on certain adventures. And it's very, as I said earlier, it's very easy to fall into that trap of being a wannabe Bond or a wannabe Jason Bourne, which is not what I wanted. So Kabir was in my head. I wanted someone very simple, very understated, but at the same time can be lethal when it comes to it. So that was the basic first germ of the idea that I had in my head, and then it kind of just took off from there.
Emraan, name a novel that you've read and you would like to make a film of, and the character you would like to play.
I can't really think of any right now. I think this definitely would be one which you can make into a fantastic feature film. It's got lots of twists and turns. It's got all the emotions, and that's what you need in a film these days. You need something that is not just about the craft. You need to feel different emotions. It has to shock you. It has to take you to a point where you don't know which way it's headed, and books rarely give you that. A lot of, I mean, there are very few books that give you that unpredictability. I think this is one book that gives you that. So I think this would be that book.
you.
The mic again to say thank you very much for coming, and thank you to Penguin Random House. And somebody asked, he's going to be an actor. The little bird told me that the script that's being, I mean, this book being taken over for a script. That's all I hear. And he's going to be the lead actor in it. So he wrote Kabir from his heart, you know. So thank you for coming in. If they want to go, this bookshop wants everybody to leave now.
इमरान सर एक सोलो इमरान सोलो विदाउट बुक इमरान साहब सामने देखिए सर एक विदाउट बुक सर सामने देखिए इमरान सामने टाटा बाय
इधर 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 आ गया
I don't. Right.